Hello everyone, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi again, good morning. Okay, so till last lecture we have discussed how to invoke Chrome browser, Firefox and internet, right? So first you have to set some property. So this is the key value and this is our Chrome driver.exe file, right? So first you have to set this value and after that create the object of the class. So if I want to invoke Chrome browser, so I will create the object of this class and after that with the help of this method I will invoke the URL. So this is how you have to uh, invoke the Chrome browser. So if I right click and try to run, let us see what is the result we are going to get. Just google.com will open. You can say google.com is open, right? And after that I will close it. So if I just open this, I have designed one manual test case. So we will try to automate that. Okay, suppose this is the website, or let me take some other website like okay, so if I open this website, okay, so this website will be launched, and after that, what I wanted to do first, I will suppose this is your manual test case. So first of all, you have to open the URL, and after that, I want to verify the URL. So URL should be this. So this is our second manual step. So all these things we will do manually, but let us see how we can do it through automation. And what is the title? Title should be, you can see what is the title, right? So okay, let us do one thing that I am not able to copy this. So let us see. First of all, let us see how we can print this title with the help of Selenium. So there is one simple method to do that. Once you open the website, you have to just say driver dot get the title, right? So it will return you one string value. As you can see, it is saying after the method string. So use this method. So once you use this method, it will return you one title. So let me capture in one variable string, and after that I will simply try to print this title. So let us see whether we are getting the title of the Cricket Buzz website or not. So if I right click, run as Java application. Okay, so if I run it Java application, what is the title? This, right? So this same title we got here. If you see, the title is same in our console output as well, right? So I want to check through this is suppose this is the I want to validate every time that right? So this is our title. I want to validate that in my website title should be this, and after that I want to close my Chrome browser. So this is a manual test case, but let us see how we can do with the help of automation. So with the help of automation, this we have done this step, and after that I want to verify the URL. So URL should be this. So if I want to validate, I want to first get the URL. So URL is this one. This is our URL. So there is again one method to get this URL in our Selenium. If I so once website will open, I will use one method driver. So this is your object. So object dot it will show you all the methods available in the Chrome driver class. So driver dot get current title. Sorry, get current URL, right? So this is our URL, and once you will use this method, it will give you the title. So sorry, give you the URL. So I will capture here, and after that I will simply try to print. Let us see what does it print. So if I right click and run, this time you will get title as well as website URL. So let us wait. So website open, and see website has finished loading. So let us see. You can see this is our URL. This is the first URL, right? And this is our title. So if I want to validate that whether this title and this title is correct, this title and this URL is correct every time when I will run my test case. So I will simply put one if else condition. So if I try to put, so I will say if URL as it is a string value, so I will use equals method URL dot equals. So if I say this same string should be equal to this, then only our test case is correct. And I will say else correct URL. Otherwise, if this string will not match, I will write in else part incorrect URL. Incorrect, okay. And the same thing after the title, I will say if title dot equals, I will say what should be equal to, this should be equal to this string value. If both matches, which means title of our website is not changed, it is correct. This is how we have validated our. So if I in the else part, I will say title is correct, incorrect title. So let me also do one thing. Instead of printing the title here, I will simply write it inside this. And instead of writing, so let me write this as well. So this is the title we got, and after that, okay, so you have to write it only here because first of once you get this title, you have to check it here. So anyways, you have to write it outside only. So okay, so these two thing, this line, I will also write inside equals part. So let us see again whether we are getting correct URL or not. So let us first run. So this time we will going to get the correct output because everything will work fine. So you can say correct URL. So we can be assured that our test case is working fine, right? So title is also correct, which is this one. But suppose if I change it, suppose I am expecting this is my actual website URL. Just suppose this is my actual website URL, and if I make some changes here, so this news is not present, right? So this is my actual website title. So I am expecting this title, but somehow due to some code changes, my website code is changed. So this time, if I try to run this program, what is the output we are going to get? Let us see. What is this issue? Okay, so I have not made any changes in this. Okay, so I have made the changes in the URL only, so it is not able to open. So here I am not changing, I have to change here. So suppose what I am saying, I am expecting this URL in my website, but somehow my URL got changed to some other. So let us see whether we are going to get this URL equal to this or not. So if I right click and run as Java application, you can say website open, and after that you got this message that your website URL is changed or incorrect and the title is incorrect. So which means you come to know that there is some issue with the URL and title, or you can assume that some hacker is changed our website URL, right? So at that time you will try to fix that, right? So you will uh, send this detail, or you can say create a bug for that code and send it to the developer that something goes wrong in our website, please fix it, right? So this is how the things will work on, right? So after that, if you want, as of now you can see that I am just manually clicking and closing the browser, right? I am clicking and closing it, but this is again a manual task. So to close our browser at the end, I will say driver dot, this is the method close. So this method will actually close your browser, right? So if I try to run, this time you will see automatically browser will close after the test case execution. So website opened, and then you can see it happened very fast, but you got the results as well, right? So is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So three methods we have discussed so far: driver.get. This discuss method we have discussed driver.get title, and the third one is dot get current URL. Okay, so these three methods we have discussed. So we will see some more methods, right? In the coming lectures, we will see so many methods. But let us first introduce one more concept. So if I just open any website, suppose if I open this website, okay, so this is again a cricket website. So if I want to see what is the HTML code for this website, I want to see what is the HTML code. So how I can see, I can simply click, I can simply right click anywhere, and I will click on this inspect button. So click this inspect. So this is the HTML code, whoever the developer has written it, right? So before working with the, okay, so before that, let us see what is this. So this is a very important concept in Selenium, right? So if you do not understand this properly, so you will face issue in every topic, right? So if you face any difficulty when I'm explaining, so just let me know so that I will explain again. So what are the locators in Selenium? If I try to say in definition, so locators in Selenium help us to perform operations on the web element, right? So what are those web element? What is this web element? So if I open any website, suppose if I open one more Amazon website, okay, so if whatever the things, if I talk about this deliver to India, this one, this search button, sign in button, and whatever everything you are seeing on the website is nothing but a web element, which means element of the web page. So this is a web element, this is a web element, and if I come down, you can see this is also a web element, and if I come down as well, this is also a web element. This CMOR is also a kind of web element, right? So whatever you see on the web page is a web element. So if I want to perform any operation, suppose this text box is a web element. So what is the operation I will perform on this text box? I will enter some data, like I will say washing machine, right? So if I want to enter some text into this text box, locators will going to help us, right? And similarly, if I want to click on the search button so that all the required results will load. So if I say washing machine, right? So okay, so directly search as well. But suppose if I want to click this and then search. So if I want to click on this search button, then locators will going to help us. So likewise to also if I want to click here, like if I want to click here today's deal, so again locator will going to help me to perform this operation on this web element. So if I want to click perform operation on this, click web element will, sorry, locators will going to help us, right? Okay, so this point is clear to everyone. What are this web element?
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, if you see that if I want to click this, right? So this is a web element, and all the links, this one, this one, this one, all these are web element, right? So this is how locators will going to help us. So these are the locators. If you want to see ID, ID, there is one more class name, ID, class name, name, link text, partial link text, XPath, CSS, right? So we will discuss that in next class, but let us first discuss some basic one, right? So ID, class name, name, link text, partial link text, XPath, sorry, C tag name, and this. So let us discuss these first, right? Okay, so before discussing that, we should know some HTML basic. So I have opened one website. So suppose this is our website. First of all, we have to understand what is a parent and what is a child. So let me just maximize it so that it will be visible. Okay, okay. So if I talk about this line, div id equals to next, right? So if I maximize it by clicking on this arrow button, so you can see if I maximize it, some code is coming, right? So if I just minimize it, you can see if I minimize it, these two lines will disappear. You can see again, you can see these two lines again will come, and after that this will load normally. Again, if I say minimize it, so what you can conclude from this, that these two lines, these three lines, right? So there is also one more line, first line, second line, and third line is nothing but the child of this line, right? So if I can say again minimize, it will go. As these elements will hide when I close this, I am concluding that whatever this highlighted line is present, div id equals to next. This is the parent of these three, right? And similarly, if I go to some other line, like suppose this one, or suppose if I open this, Okay, so you can say this is also child of this one, right? So if I take some good example, so here if I try to, okay, so here it is not a good example. If I open suppose this website, okay, and if I want to see what is the HTML code, right click and inspect. Okay, so this is the HTML code, and okay, so again this is, if I, you can say 1, 2 and 3, I think. So if I minimize it, these three lines will disappear, right? You can see I am talking about this one, div id equals to a page. If I maximize it, if I maximize it, you can see again it has child 1, child 2, this is a child, because all these lines will disappear when I minimize it. So I am concluding that this highlighted line is the parent of these all, right? So if you want to see, right, so this is a child as well, because when I'm clicking, and suppose if you want to know, if you are even confusing that, I suppose I want to know uh, what is the what is the parent of this line, div class equals to this one, right? I want to know what is the parent of this line. How I can conclude? I will start from bottom, like I want to know from of this line. I will start from this line and I will go to the top, and whenever I will find first downward arrow, I will conclude that that is the parent. So how we can do? See, that is very easy. I will start from this line and I will go to the top. So I will go like this, and whenever I will find first downward arrow, I am talking about first downward arrow, I will conclude that that is the parent. So you can see this line, this line is the parent of this line, right? You can see whenever I am minimizing it, this line is disappearing, which means this line is the parent of this line. So are you able to get that how we are deciding what is the parent and the child?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if I take some other example, suppose this is the line, right? If I expand it, so you can see some line is present here, right? And if I, you can say, if I maximize it, I want to know what is the parent of this highlighted line. I will start from this line and go to the top. Whenever I will find first downward arrow, I will conclude that that is the parent. So you can see first downward arrow, which means this line is the parent of this one, right? Because when I am minimizing it, this below line will disappear. Okay, so this is how we can check what is the parent and the child. But if you see that this child, this is the parent and this is the child, but this line, this child line has having two more child, you can say, because when I am minimizing this line, below line will disappear, right? These two, script 1 and divide are disappearing, which means for these two line, for these two, this is the parent, and for this line, this is the parent. Likewise, for if I talk about this line, divide equals to this one, what is the parent of this line? This line, if I say, I will say just suppose let me first minimize all, and so that it will not confuse us. Let me minimize all. I want to know what is the parent of this. So first close all the tags, otherwise it can confuse you in getting the parent and the child, right? So I think all are closed. Okay, so if I want to go know what is the child of this, I will go from the bottom, this line, and whenever I will find first downward arrow, so is there any downward arrow? Not here, not here. Here it is present, right? First downward arrow is present. So this is how you can say that this is the parent of this one, right? Because if I minimize it, if I just minimize it little bit, so what we are looking for. I think if I just talk about, because I will not be able to show below element, but suppose if I want to know the parent of this, I will start from this line. I will start from this line and I will move to the top till I find first downward arrow. So this is the parent, because you can see this will hidden if I minimize it, right? So this is how you have to understand what is this parent and the child. Are you able to get, guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let us see. Suppose I want to, what is this ID locator? So before that, let us also see a few more things. So if I copy, okay, let me copy this one. Okay, so before learning locator, we should understand some HTML terminology. What is this HTML terminology? So if I talk about always the first one, whenever you will see that all the lines will start like this, and whatever the text you will find here, right? So this is the first one. It is nothing but our tag name, right? So whenever the developer will write some HTML code, he has to define some tag name, and inside the tag name, he will define all the things. So this is our tag name, right? And what is this? So tag name start from this, and this tag name, and the tag name ends here, right? So this is how, what is this? First you have to understand this. And what are all the other elements? So this is ID, this is a attribute, right? And this is also a attribute. So let me write it, attribute, right? And this style is also attribute. This class is also attribute, right? And if I talk about this one, it has copied like this only. So this whole data CSA ID is a attribute, right? And if I talk about this one, this is again a attribute, right? And if I talk about what is this value, what is this value? If this is the attribute, so this right hand side value is nothing but the attribute value, right? And if I talk about this one, right hand side value, this is again the value of this attribute, left hand side attribute. So are you able to get? And this is a comment. If I talk about, this is simply a comment, right? So are you able to get what is this attribute and the value and tag name?
Yes.
If I understand, in all the red color values are attribute, correct?
Which one?
Red color value like sale, words, ID,
Yeah,
style.
left hand side is attribute and right hand side is attribute value.
Okay.
But always the first element will be our tag name, right? This is a
Okay.
tag div. Okay. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this you should understand. So this will be common for every HTML line of code, right? So if I come here, now suppose if I want to discuss what is this ID locator. So ID is a locator which will help us to perform some operation on web element. Web element, we have already discussed. Everything that is present on the web page is nothing but a web element. Okay, so if I discuss this ID locator, so just come here. If I, so you can say this is your ID. Wherever you find ID equals to this, you can use ID locator. ID equals to given like this. And if I come here, select this, you can say ID is present, right? So with first of all, what we will do, suppose let me just start from the again. This is our website. I want to enter mobile here, right? So that I will be able to check whether when I am entering mobile, when I'm entering mobile, I will be able to enter it in this text box or not. If I am not able to enter, which means there is something wrong in my website. Okay, so how we can do with the help of Selenium? First of all, if I want to enter anything here, I want to see what is the HTML code. So simply right click on inspect, so that it will show you the HTML code, right? And after that, you have to click on this, select an element in the page. So click this, left click one time. Once you click, move your mouse to here, because I want to know what is the HTML code for this particular text box on the web page. So click this, left click one time. Now automatically you will, this line will be highlighted. So this is nothing but the HTML code. So tag name is our input. This is left one is our tag name, and after that all the elements on the left hand side are nothing but the attribute. So type is a attribute, ID, like there are so many like tab index. This is also a attribute. Right hand side is our attribute value. So as we are discussing this ID locator for the very first time, I am only interested in ID. So this is our ID, right? So with the help of this, I will be able to enter something here. So let me first copy this value, ID equals to this, and I will come to my Eclipse editor. So here, let me create one more class, or let me test case one. So save it. Let me create another class, and I will say locators, and I will save it. Okay, so here I will, okay, so it has not copied. Let me do it again. So I will say locators. Okay, so here if I remove all this, and first let me open that Amazon website, then only we can do rest of our task. So if I want to see, I think this is the, copy this and hit the URL here. Okay, so this will open Amazon website, and after that let me remove this as well. Okay, I want to use ID locator, right? So what is the value of ID we have copied? I think this is the value, right? ID value. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to first find this web element. This is a web element text box. So how I want to find this web element? So in Eclipse, this is our object, right? So I will say driver. I want to find the element. So there is one method driver dot find the element. Okay, so I want to find the element, but it is asking that how you want to find the element. So I will say I want to find the element by the help of by dot id. I want to find the element with the help of by id locator. So this is your id locator, and inside that you have to pass this id value, right? So this is our id value. This is actually a class. This is a class, and all the methods here inside that are static, right? So if I try to show you, right? So this is a static method. You can see the definition of this method. As it is a static method, you do not have to create the object of this class. You can directly call this, right? Call this method by using dot operator, and inside that this is a method. So inside this method is expecting the value of your id attribute. Okay, so again you can see this is a method as well, right? So inside that you have to use this class, and after that uh, with the help of dot operator you can call this method id. So this is nothing but your id locator, and this locator is expecting this uh, value, right? So here if you see, this is a text box. There is no point of clicking here in this text box. So if I click here, nothing will happen. I want to send some data like mobile, right? So if I want to see send mobile, how we can say, I will say there is one more method, right? So you have to write after this bracket this one and this one, right? And these two brackets are for this one, and after that you have to write dot use dot send keys. So this method send keys method will actually send that data. I want to send mobile, so this will do the work for me, right? So this is how you can use this id locator to perform the operation on the text box. So if I try to run this program, let us see whether it is working correctly or not. So if I right click run as Java application, so let us see what is the output we are going to get. So first Amazon website will open, and after that it should enter that mobile here, right? So you can see automatically it is entered. So this ID locator is clear to everyone?
Hello?
Yeah,
If we have a multiple locators with the same name, how we can?
yeah. We will come to this. As of now, let us just to discuss with the simple one, right? I will show
Okay.
you everything.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So you can see here, right? So this has entered, right? Right. Wise, if you say washing machine,
Hello?
yeah.
Yeah, I believe like that ID locator is mandatory for every web element. So is there any use for other element, other locators?
No,
Because it seems mandatory.
sometimes you will not find this ID. If I show you, you cannot see that it is mandatory. Sometimes you will not find it here. Like suppose if I talk about this, or if I come down, if I go to some other website like this, or let me open, I think facebook.com. So suppose if I want to click on this link, this is a link, right? Face forgotten password. If I click this, it will open this page, forgotten password one, right? So if I want to see how we can do with the help of ID, if I come back, if I first want to see the HTML code for this highlighted one, right? So you can see here no ID is present, right? So you have to go with some other locator, right?
Okay.
So every
Right.
time ID will not be present, and every time this will not present, every time this will not present, every time this will also not present, right? So but suppose all these are not present, but definitely you can make XPath and CSS, right? So we will see that in next lecture, right? So there we will see that even if these attributes are not present, like class name is not present, name is not present, then suppose this is also not present, this text. So how we can form our XPath in CSS we will see in later section. Okay, so if I write,
Hello?
yeah,
Yeah, is it possible to vary the ID at the runtime?
which means how you want to vary means
Means if we write the script like this and after some time if developer change the ID, then
it
what
will
will
fail. It will fail. So in the XPath and CSS we will see that how we can write the ID in such a way that even if the ID will change, your script will not fail. Right. So here you cannot do this any modification in this.
okay, okay.
Okay. So right, so basically you were talking about some dynamic element that will keep on changing. So we will see how to write XPath and CSS in such a way that even if your ID will change. So if I show you one example where you can see expect ID change. So there is one. Okay, so if you come to this, if I talk about this check availability button, right? So if I want to click on this button, so actually I think there is no ID, but there is one class. I think if you see, so just suppose instead of name ID is there, and suppose the ID will look something like this. So if I copy this ID, I will show you. If I paste the ID here, right? So this is your actually it is a name, but just suppose that it is a ID as of now. Suppose this is a ID, right? And you used ID locator to click on this ID to click on this button. But you see when I will refresh this page, if I try to see what is the name, just suppose ID, you can see this will change. If I suppose next time you will see when you run your script, you can see this part is changed, right? So if you
Yeah.
go with the ID locator there, your script will fail. So we will write something like in such a way that even if this part will keep on changing, our script will not fail, right? So we will see in next section that how we can form XPath and CSS for this dynamic element. As of now, let us go with the simple one. Okay. So if I write a washing machine here, so you will see right click run as Java application.
Can you please repeat how the ID change?
Okay, so I'm not changing the ID. If you see, this is the website I came across where you will see this name will keep on changing. If I as of now the if I say, and I think if I can take the example of this as well, it will change. Okay, so here it will not change. If I come to this text box, so here no ID is present. So anyways, let us go with this one only. If this is the button, you can see what is the name. If I copy this name and place it here so that we can check later. As of now, this is the name, right? But if I refresh it again, refresh in the sense, suppose I am opening the website from my Eclipse editor. So again, if you try to see, this value has changed. This time the value become like this. This part will keep on changing, but the rest of the remaining part is constant. You can see, right? If I refresh it one more time, if I refresh this website one more time, you can see this time the value is different. Some part is constant and the rest is changing. So this time the value will be like this, right? So it will keep on changing. So your ID locator will not alone work there. Is it? Have you got how they are changing? Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. So this we have discussed that how we can use ID locator, and suppose if I open one website like this. So suppose first let me open this URL. So I will copy the whole URL so that we will directly come to this page. So I will, instead of giving this, I will paste this URL. Now this URL will open. Okay, and after that what I wanted to do, let me close this. Okay, I wanted to enter my email ID, right? So how I can do? So before, if I want to perform any operation on this text box, first I want to know what is the HTML code. So I will simply click on this, select an image. Okay, so first click this, and then after move your mouse to this text box, so that it will show you all the, you can say all the elements, right? So you can say type is a attribute, input is a tag name, right? So again you can say ID. So you can also use ID locator, right? So this we have already discussed, right? You can say this we have already discussed how to use ID locator. So you can try that. Let us discuss this name locator. So you can see, if I want, suppose ID is not present but this name is present, how we can do? Again, that is very simple. uh, you can say name equals to email. So this time I will use name locator. So I will copy this value, email, right? Copy this, and this time if I come here, instead of using ID, so driver dot, I want to find the text box again, but this time I want to find it by the help of by dot name. So this is your name, right? Name method, and inside that you have to pass that name which we have copied from the browser. And again same story, what I want to do, I want to send some data. So I will say, suppose I will say email ID. So I will say @gmail.com, like this. Okay, so if I do the, again right click and run this Java application, so let us see whether it is entering the email ID or not, so of the user. So it will again run the Chrome browser, and then website will open, and then it will enter the email, right? So you can say it has entered the email, right? So this is how you can perform operation on the text box with the help of name locator. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Do we need to change the before running the our script? Do we need to check the whether the locator got changed or not? Not
Sorry.
required, right? No, no. Before running our script, so do we need to check the locator got changed or not?
Yeah, we will check. I will show you in a short while that how we can check our locators, right? So with the, you can check XPath and CSS, that whether you have written XPath and CSS or not, correct, right?
Okay.
Okay, so let me close this. If I suppose if I want to, so name we have discussed. Suppose if I want to click on this button, so is there any, you can say again you can do with the help of ID equals to continue. Suppose I want to click on this button, right? So if I see, if I first show you what we will get if I click on this button. So what is the email ID? Go ahead. Suppose random ID I am saying. So it should throw the error because this ID is not registered. Okay, I don't know why. I don't know that this is not my ID, but someone else is using it maybe. So we should land on this page, right? Once I will click on continue button, I will land on this page. So let us check. So let me give this ID only. So I want to first enter the ID, and so I will say in the send keys. Okay, so already I have written it here. So after that, what I want to do, I want to click on continue button. How we can do again? First of all, let me see what is the HTML code of this continue button. Okay, Okay, so suppose if it is coming like this when you right click, and suppose it is coming on the right hand side, so you can just say click this three dots and click this top to bottom. So now it will come here. Okay, so I want to first click on this continue button. After entering my email ID, I want to click on this button. So first of all, let me see what is the HTML code. So I will click this. So you can see so many attributes: ID, tab, index, class, right? So suppose this time, instead of giving that ID using ID locator, this we have discussed, right? So if I talk about ID, we have discussed, name we have discussed, name locator. So let me, so this line I think I have already written on the top, right? So this we have discussed ID locator, this we have also discussed, and let us see this third one, class name. So if you see here, you can see this is your class and this is the name of the class, right? So again, let us discuss this locator, third one. So this time I want to click on this button. You can also use this locator, ID locator, as you want, right? But let us discuss this locator now. So I will again copy this, right click and copy. So once I will copy this, I will again write same statement, driver is our object name, so that object will have all the method. And so I want to find the element. This time I want to find the web element continue button. So I want to find that button by the help of by dot. So we can you can use ID, you can also use name if present, but this time we will say class name, right? So this is your class name locator. Inside that you have to, in the double quotes, you have to pass that class. So this is the class I have copied. This is your class name, right? So you can copy this, and after that, but this time as it is a button, we have to click on button. We do not have to send anything in button, right? So it is not possible. So I will say dot click, simple method it is, right? So as the name suggests, it will simply click on that button once I will, this will invoke. So if you want to see, then how we can do, right click, run as Java application, and this time it will first enter the email ID in the box, and after that it will click on continue button. It will do this, and then after it has clicked. So is it clear to everyone?
Yeah,
Yes.
hello.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we this thing we also do with XPath locator, then why we use ID?
See, you can consider ID as the fastest locator among all the locator, because
ID.
yeah, ID locator is the fastest locator, or you can say more reliable operator. Sorry, not operator, more reliable locator across all the locator, because ID is just like a address, right?
Okay.
Because it will help you to directly reach to the element. And you are asking that why we are using XPath and CSS, because I am saying, if you see here, if I come here, sometimes ID locator or these locator will not present. This whatever the locators we will discuss from here to here, sometimes they will not present in your code. At
No,
that
no,
time you can
no.
definitely write
My
XPath and
question is
CSS.
that my question is that if ID locator is not available, we also do with XPath.
Yeah.
ID locator, name locator, class locator. Instead of this, we also use here XPath. We also find do the same work with XPath. Then why we use ID locator, name locator, class name, these types of?
See, if I come here again, just say, suppose I'm telling you, if this website we have already discussed that, if I suppose you can use name locator and you can also write XPath for this, right? But here if
Yeah.
we try to use name locator, this value, if I copy this value, we have already seen that this value will keep on changing after this
Yeah.
value, right? Rest of that will be not change. So here you can use name locator, but here you can use XPath locator in such a way that even if this value will keep on changing, your code will not affect. right? So you can use name locator as well, but here you have to use XPath or you can say CSS locator, because that name alone will not going to work, right? So it depends upon the situation, right, where you have to use XPath and where you have to use name locator, right?
Yeah.
So here, if even if you try to go with the name locator, it will keep on changing and it will fail. So here we will see how we can use CSS and XPath, right? So
Yeah.
it is not a hard and fast rule that you have to use XPath only or CSS only, right? So it depends upon your how you want to write the code. But ID is the fastest among all, but because ID is just like a address, so it will teach point you the direct. Okay, so so has it clicked? Okay, so let me run it again. So if I run it, it should click on this. First it will enter, after that it will click on continue button, right? So these two steps will do. So you can use this method for clicking anything, any web element, or you can use this method to send some data into the text box, right? So if I, you can see how many locators we have discussed. ID we have discussed, this we have discussed, name, class name also discussed. So this is again I have written. So let me remove this. ID, class name, name. Okay, so let us discuss these two. What is this link text and partial link text? So if I come here again to facebook.com. Okay, so here it is. So first, suppose I want to click on this forgotten password. So if I say that it is a link, how first of all we will decide that is it a link, right? Whether we will first click this or just say that it is a link. So always, whenever you want to check whether it is a link or not, first try to see the HTML code, right? So this is your HTML code. Here you can see just link of that complete URL is present. href is again a attribute, right? But here after that you can see no ID, class name is present, right? So if you want to click on this link, these locators will not help you. ID, name, and then you can say class name, right? But these two can help you, right? How we can say, and how I am saying that it is a link, because I am seeing this anchor tag. This is nothing but anchor tag. If I write it here, anchor, you can say tag, right? So whenever this tag is basically used in HTML to represent a link. So whenever you will find any anchor tag and like this href, which you can conclude that this is a link. So if I want to click on this link, here I do not have any locator, but I can use these two locator, which is nothing but these two, link text and partial link text. So what is this link text? So it is nothing but the text of the link. So if you see what is the text here, this is the text of our link, right? So this is the text present of the link. So with the help of this text, I will be able to click the link, right? So is it clear to everyone that what is the issue and how we are why we are using this locator now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that is also again a very simple thing. If you, so let me first open Facebook. So I will, let me comment this, and I will first open facebook.com so that I will get the required page. So here, mm, so copy this. So URL copy, and here I will say okay. So Facebook will open, and after that I want to find some link. So again that link is also a kind of web element. So again I will say same story, driver dot, I want to find the web element. So I want to find that element. I want to find that by the help of by dot. This time you cannot use class name, ID, but you can use this link text, right? So this is again a method. So inside that, what is the link text you are seeing here? This is the link text, right? So copy this link text, right, and just place it here in double quotes. Now after that you have to click on it. So I will say dot click, right? So you do not have to use send keys here, because as it is a link, we click on link, we do not send any data on the link, so it is not a textbook. So these two steps will do the work for me. So if I try to run this, you can say first it will open, after that it has clicked, right? So this is how you can use this locator to click on a link if other locators are not present. So is it clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is one more, which is this one. So why if that will do the work for me, why I will use this partial link? Partial link in the sense, suppose my link name is this. So partial link in the sense I will provide the name like this. Like this I will provide, right? So that will also click. But what is the reason? Because some, as of now, your link text is this, right? As of now, we already saw that this is our link. If I write it here, but sometimes the text of the link is very big. Like if I write uh, suppose instead of this one, if this would have been the text of the link, right? So this text, if I pass it here, right, so our code will not look clean, right? Here if I copy the, and if I try to print it here, right, so that will not make our program look good. So in that case I can also use this locator. If I do not want to use, I can use this partial link. So in the partial link, if even if I provide like this partial, like this, right, sorry, if I provide partial, like suppose if I remove this and if I provide this, now this will also be able to identify, because it will just look whether this text is present in any of the link in the page, then I will click that link, right? So if I show you, if I talk about this locator only, okay, so let me comment this, and I will simply say driver dot find element. Again I want to find, but this time I want to use this method, partial link text, right? You can say the partial text to match against. So I want to match with, so suppose if I copy this, okay, so let me copy it from here only. So this is our link text, but this time I won't give the full text of the link. I will give partial name. So if I even if I remove like this, and if I remove this, and even if I want to remove from here like this, so your link text will become shorter, right? So if I remove like this, and after that if I want to click, then also, sorry, then also if I run it, if I run, please put yourself on mute. Disturbance is coming. So you can see with the help of partial link text, right? So you can see it has again clicked on this. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. So it will click on contains text, right?
Yeah, contains, you can say, yeah. But if you try to see one more thing, if I change like this, you cannot remove from the middle. If I talk about this is the same thing, but this time suppose if I remove it from the middle one, then it will throw the error. Let us see. Because if you remove from the middle, then your link text will change, right? So if I remove from like this, if I remove, right? So will it work? Let us see. This time your code failed. What is the error? It is saying unable to locate element, right? You can clearly see. It is saying that there is no partial text like this, right? So there is no link that will contain this, because so you have to keep in mind that whenever you are using partial link text, if I come here, always remove from the previous and after, sorry, before and after, not from the middle, otherwise it will change your text. So I can remove like this, and I can also remove like this, but not from the middle. Okay, so this time it will work, right? So this you have to keep in mind. And if I come here, so I think there is only one link present on this page. So the reason why I am saying that you have to conclude that whether it is a link or not, because you can see here, if I try this, I can also click on this button, right? So I can also click on this forgotten password, but how will you identify that this is a button and this is a link? Because you can clearly see, if sorry, you can clearly see, if I try to see the HTML code of the button, this is not a link because anchor tag A is not present here. But if I come here, this is clearly a link, and you can see the link URL, right? Because anchor tag A is used here. So this is how you have to identify that whether it is a link or not, right? So if I think there is only one link in this page. If I So let us use this tag name this time. Okay, so right, so I think these all locators are clear to everyone.
Yes.
If there is multiple links with the same name, then how can we use partial link test?
So in that manner, you have to use that XPath and CSS, right? I will tell you. Okay,
Okay.
let us discuss this tag name. So this is again a very simple. What is the tag name? You know what is a tag name, right?
Yes.
So if I want to click on this link, you can also use this tag name, anchor tag A. So, but make sure that only one link is present, because if multiple links are present, then it will confuse and it will click the link whichever will come first, right? So just I'm very sure that there is only one link present here. So let us see, otherwise let us, okay. So this is the anchor tag A. So I will simply say, this time I want to click the link with the help of tag name, driver dot find element. I want to find that with the help of tag name. Just provide the tag name is A, and after that I want to click. So that's what you have to do. If you want to click the link, let us see first whether it will work. This time again it should click on forgotten password. Okay, so it has failed. I think there are multiple links. You should have clicked. Why it is not clicked? I think this is also a link.
Correct.
That's why. Okay, so let us discuss one method, right? If I want to count the number of links present on the page, So here we should have used XPath. You can see again this is a link, so it is confusing. So which one to click, right? So let us discuss one simple method. If I want to count how many links are present on this website with the help of tag name, because every link will going to have a tag name, that is for sure. Every link on the web page will going to have that uh, tag name, right? So if I want to count the number of links on a web page, right? So you can use this method. So let me also comment this. So after that, I want to count the number of links. So how we can do? Again, I will use driver dot find. But this time I want to count uh, number of links, right? So there can be more than one elements, more than one links. So this time I will use find elements. If I write s here, right? If I write s here, and I will say I want to find the number of links by dot. I will simply use tag name because I know every link will going to have a tag name as a. This is for sure. So I will use tag name I want to find, right? So this I have found. So if I want to place it in one variable, as we are going to get number of more than one element. So this is nothing but a list of web elements. So I will say, so now we are going to use some collection part. So list of web element, and I will say what is the variable name. I will say links equals to this. So it will try to show you to import the package. So you have to use this third one, java.utility import, and here you have to import this web element. So here why I am using this web element, list of web element, because I am using this find elements method. So it will capture all the links present on this web page facebook.com, and it will store in this variable, right? So here you have to use the reference variable. This link variable is of the type list of web element. Web element here in the case is our link. So if I try to show you, and after that once you will get, I will simply say links dot size. So this will actually give you the total number of links present on the page. So if I try to print, so before that let me store in one int total links. So and after that I will simply print this total link variable. So I will write like this, so that total links are okay. So let me show you in debug mode that how this variable data will look like. So you can see our, as we have put one breakpoint. So if I say step out, I think two links should be present. Not sure, might be,
What is debug mode?
sorry.
Debug mode.
Okay, telling you. Wait a minute.
Okay, okay.
Total links 50. Is there 50 links? I'm not sure how it is giving 50. Let me check. You can see yes, there are. I think yes, there are 50 links right on this page. Even it is just, you can see some data is coming like this. So this is again a link. I don't know why. Maybe we cannot click this. So I try to. But whatever the links we are which are having anchor tag A, it will going to give you, right. So you can see this is a link, this is a link. Okay, so this again they have used anchor tag A, right? So this is also a link, and okay, so it is coming from this, right? We have not seen this. All these are links as well, right? So this is the reason.
I think there are some hidden link.
Sorry.
There are some hidden link present in the
Yeah, yeah. But all
Why we
these links,
don't see
all
those?
these are links anyways, right? You can see one by
Yes.
one. All are links using anchor tag A. So this is the reason we are getting 51, right? So if you want to simply count that how many links are present on this page, you can see. So this is how the variable data will look like. So it has just captured. If I show you, right? So all these are web element. So if you want to get the size, total size of the web element, in the sense here our web element is the link, right? So these are all the from 0 to 51, for sorry 49. So that will make the count as, what is the count, right? 50. So after that, once I will get the size, I will say total links are 50, right? So is it clear to everyone? This is the find elements method. So if you want to, suppose if you are on Amazon website, and if I show you one more, suppose I am on Amazon website, Amazon. So here if I want to count the number of link, again first I will open this website. This time again I know that every web page link will going to have, so terminate will have anchor tag A, right? So these are the total link, right? So it will going to print the total link, so that is not an issue. But suppose I also want to print the number of, sorry, text of the link. How we can do that? I will simply use one for loop. So if I use one for loop to print that all the links, I will use one for loop. That loop will start from 0, and I will say I less than whatever be the number, I will run it till that number, 1 less than that number, and I will increment I. And inside that I will simply say links dot get with the first link and get with the text of the first link. So this is how you have to write, and it's here I will. So I will show you in debug mode. So what is that debug mode? Basically I am seeing how my program is going to run. So I will show you in debug mode, so that will make it clear, and I will print that. So if I run it in debug mode, how you want, if you want to know how to debug, just place one breakpoint. So here I have double click it here, or you can start from here, so that I will be able to see how my program is working, right? So this is the reason I am debugging it, right? So right click, debug as Java application. That's it you have to do. Now your program will stop here, and you can see one by one that what is happening in our program. So first it will open Amazon website. Okay, so I think it will now stop. Okay, so it has stopped here. So if I want to execute this line, I will simply click this, step over. So I will, this line will execute and Amazon website will open. So Amazon open, and after that, okay, so after that we are here. Now this will going to give me all the links, because links will start from anchor tag A. So as you are using find elements, all the links will come to this variable. So it will take some time, because I think there are more than 100 links present on this page. So wait for some time. Okay, so it has invoked. Okay, so only 83 are present. Okay, so here actually first you have to use 0 to 99. Some links are present. Right, so let us see what is the size. I think it will give me the size as 3. Not sure. Okay, so how many links are present here? It has given me the size, right? So now once it has given me the size, because the size is coming like this, I think. Okay, from 0 to 286, right? So total 287. So I don't know why it is showing me the output like this. From 0 to 99, it is showing me like this: 0 to 99, and then 100 to 199, and then 200 to 286. So total 0 to 286, which means 287. So total links are 287. So I will print this. I will again click a step over. Total links are 287, but I also want to print all the text of the link. How we can do? Sorry, I want to print the what is the link of the. So suppose if I come here, actually I am what I am trying to do. If you see, this is the link. I want to print this link. Whatever be the link you are seeing here. How we can do? I have used one for loop. Okay, so now this for loop will run for 0 to 286. So total it will run for 286 times. Now one by one I am saying this variable will have all the links from 0 to 99 if I talk about. So at 0 index, one link will be present, right? This I know that at 0 index there is one link. If I expand this more, let us see. So inside one of these your link will be present. So from 0 index link I want to get this link first. So I am saying get me the link present at 0 index. So if I execute this, I am saying get me the link present at the index 0. Out of all the link, get the link present at the index 0. So I will get this web element, but once I will get the web element, I also want to get the text of the link. So I am using this method get text. So if I show you, okay, so might be that link is empty or hidden, right? So this is the reason you are seeing here. But if I text one, so whatever the text of the link you are going to get, right? So if I again say, again it is a empty. Basically, actually, sorry, I have told you incorrect here. Actually, it is not giving you the this value. You are going to get this value, right? So whatever the text of the link we are going to get, it will one by one. You can see.
Oh yeah.
You can see.
What is to main content?
Sorry.
What is skip to main content?
See, this we are getting from this website. Somewhere here, there is one link that will have this. If you want to see, click on inspect, paste this. This is coming from this website. As we are printing the text of the link, so it is coming from here. This is somewhere here present, right? Skip to main content, right? So this is printing this, like, right? Because we are using anchor tag here again, right?
Got it.
Okay. So what I mean to say that you can also print the number of links and the text coming like this. So again, right? So this is again whatever the text is coming. Like you can keep on doing that. And if I want to run all the program, I will simply click this resume, right? So it will, so some empty, like, so it will keep on printing like this, right? So you are seeing this empty space because some links do not have any text, right? But after that it will print all the link. So you can try that with some other website. Now you can see it has printed, right? So this is how you can use this method as well. So is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So debug mode is also clear to everyone, I think.
For debug mode, we need to run the program manually, correct?
Yeah, if you put debug, then you have to click this one by one, step over.
Or okay.
So it is very good approach. If you are facing any issue in your program, you can check that in the debug mode that what is the issue, right? Okay.
Okay.
So in the next class we will see XPath and CSS locator, right, in depth. So that's all for today in this session. Thank you everyone. Any issues you can ask.
Sir, one doubt.
Yeah.
Here list of web element is this class name, sir. Web element is the class name.
If you want to see, I think this is the interface. I think interface it is, right.
Right.
So this is interface, right? So you have already studied what is interface.
Yes, sir.
Basically, if you want to, if I write something like this, suppose you can also catch it, do it like this. I will say driver dot find element by dot id. Suppose I am providing one id. So suppose this id is of text box, so I will say text box. Suppose this is our id, so I can also catch it like this. First I will, you can also use this text box, right? So basically, as it is a web element, right, so everything present on the web page is a web element. So I can also create one reference variable of type web element, and I can place that complete here, right? So now if you want to send the data into the text box, how you can use you will use after that dot send keys, right? But here, as we are having our web element text box here, now I can use this here text box dot send keys, right? So actually it will make your program more readable, or you can say look good, right? So this is how now you can see that Sambar will understand that this is a web element, and to the web element you are sending this some data, right? So you can also do like this. But okay, so is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes.
So okay, so keep on practicing this, right? Whatever we have learned today, and we'll see you in the next class.
Can we get Monday's recording?
Okay, I will ask Vandan. I think he was busy, so he did not get the time. I will tell you. I will
Yeah.
upload this just now, okay, and after that Vandan will also upload.
Yeah.
One question from my side.
Yeah.
There are many methods in methods are there. Then how we choose the right method to finding the web elements? Can we have the notes for that, or we have to?
No, you are asking this one, driver dot find element. So this is the common for everything. See,
Uh,
you do not have to learn any method. This is the advantage of using Eclipse. So whenever I will say find
like
element, so
like we
automatically,
are using send keys
yeah,
and finding element that are also methods,
yeah,
right?
that is a method because you are using this bracket after this. So this is again a
Yeah.
method, right?
Then how we can choose the right method for finding the web element?
I am saying, okay, so tell me when you will use send key. Are you not able to get?
Yeah, I am able to get.
Sorry.
Yeah, I am listening to you.
See, once you will practice that these methods name is in such a way that suppose I want to click. So there is a one click method and I want to send some data, so send keys method. So I will also provide the note, right? So if I will after that share that I will write it here only that send keys, get text I have used, get method. So I will provide that in notes if you want. But once you practice, automatically you will keep on remembering that send keys and
Okay.
click, right? So I will provide in notes after this. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. So thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.